Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main camera. Already we're live. And as you guys can tell by the title and thumbnail, well, today I'm going to be working on summoning logic in Unreal Engine 5 using C++. And that said, I did not actually touch Unreal Engine for the past 3 days because like out of the 3 days, last stream, which is like Tuesday, I did like work on Blender, and then the 2 streams before that, I did not actually really stream because I was actually moving time stuff. That said, today I'm going to work on Blender, the summoning logic that I worked on 3 days ago. So let's go to my gameplay screen. There we go. Okay, and guys, I thought to like add a bit of a fun tweak for today's stream where every 10 likes on my vertical stream, I'm going to be let's say doing either 10 squats, push-ups, or sit-ups. In the other hand, for every 5 likes in my horizontal stream, I'm going to be doing either 10 push-ups, squats, or sit-ups. Okay, that said, I actually forgot to get the Wheel of Justice up here. Let's go with something like Wheel of Names. Let's go with something like WHEEL. Hold up, guys. Let's go with something like Wheel of Names. There we go. Again, guys, my finger is still kind of frozen. I'm not kind of used to my new setup here. That said, let me just go ahead and get Gemini print, guys. This is like one of Gemini's the old chats because I am not actually planning to use Gemini for this stream because I do want to just review my stuff before I work on something new. Bro, just make your own engine. How do people actually do that? Okay, that said, I've used this wheel like I think like years ago now. Not years ago. I think like months ago, back when I was confused whether I should work on SDL 1, 2, or 3. That's it. I'm gonna go with something like the push-ups. So there we go. Let's go with something like sit-ups and squats. Okay, let's go with something like sit-ups and lastly squats. Okay, perfect. This is pretty much it. Now, every time we hit either 10 likes on the vertical stream or 5 likes on the horizontal stream, I'm gonna like spin this wheel once. Okay, speaking of which, let's go and open Unreal Engine first. There we go. And guys, let me know. Okay, guys, first like I thought we already hit like 15 likes. Never mind. Okay, that's it now. So this is basically a brand new should I say project here, because I do want to like work on the basics first, like just brush myself off because I haven't like touched Unreal Engine in the past 3 days or in the last 3 days, guys. I cannot talk properly. Or Vulkan. Okay, I was actually going to work with Vulkan, but many of you guys in the chat actually said me not to actually do Vulkan because like it's really complex and you gotta like build everything from scratch type stuff. That said, even though I was kind of excited like work with Vulkan, so I actually had a community post asking you guys whether or not I should work with SDL, Unreal Engine, or Vulkan. I think like 85% of you guys did pick Unreal Engine. And that's sad. I'm gonna go ahead and create a character class. I'm gonna call my character class, let's say something like a Necromancer. Okay, and if you guys did watch my last programming stream, which was basically 3 days ago, I did like work on actually summoning objects once I clicked a certain button on my keyboard. That did work, so today I'm going to be working on that. If I had enough time, that said. Okay, let's see. So it's summoning. My project name, I did like name it as something like Summon X because I thought that name sounds kind of cool. Okay, that's it. Let's go ahead and reload all here. And guys, let me know once we hit the like aim because I might not really pay that much attention up here. Okay, I'll just leave it here because I don't have like enough space to actually keep my phone up there. Maybe I'm gonna like add a stand up there or something. Okay, that's it. So this is my class. Firstly, before I do add any kind of necromancy skills or so, I need to, let's say, maybe add some kind of movement for my players. So I'm going to be using enhanced inputs. Okay, what's good, my boy? Howdy, Sproggle. I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that's it. Let me check if my camera is good in OBS. There we go. Should I get myself a bit lower? I think this is good. I think that's good. Okay, that's it. Now, to add movement first, and guys, I feel like my voice is echoing. Okay, so to add movements, firstly, since I will be using enhanced inputs, I'm gonna go to, let's say, my Unreal Engine in my contents section. I'm gonna create a new folder. This is what we always do to like create enhanced inputs. I'm gonna create an inputs folder, and then I'm gonna go ahead and double click my folder. In my inputs folder, let's say I'm gonna go ahead and add maybe like 3 action inputs. So I'm gonna go with something like an action input. This is gonna be called IA underscore move, which technically stands for input action underscore move. Okay, let's see. Username may not contain any of the following characters. So, okay. Let's go with something like IA move. IA underscore move. Is it just me or like we could have used... There we go. Okay, there we go. And next up, once I'm done with that, I'm gonna add another input action. Technically, the IA underscore move is in charge of my player or my character actually moving around either in the x-axis or y-axis, so in a 2D vector. in the other hand, I'm going to be having another input action called something like IA underscore look, which is going to make my player, let's say, it's going to help my player to turn around. For example, if I want to like look towards the left, look towards the right, I am going to be doing that using yaw and pitch. Yaw stands for like me rotating in the x-axis, and pitch stands for me rotating in the y-axis. Okay, that's it. Now, once I'm done with that, let's say I'm going to go ahead and add, let's say, something like input mapping context. I'm going to go with something like an input mapping context. And this is where we like connect everything, like all the action inputs that I got. I'm going to connect them to my keyboard. And later on, I'm going to bind my keyboard to my Visual Studio's code. Okay, and guys, this name is still kind of big, so I'm going to shout it into something like IMC, which stands for input mapping context, underscore default. This is like the default one, nothing specific. Okay, and now that's pretty much it for actually adding movement. Although, I might add another. And now, guys, this is where we actually pay some attention to details. If I did not add something like IA underscore RMB, which is practically my right mouse button, I'm gonna go ahead and just move my player, just rotate him every time I turn my mouse around, because I will be eventually setting my rotation to my mouse. But the only time I want to move my player around is when I'm pushing my right mouse button, if that made any sense. Okay, that's it. That's about it, like, for now. So, next thing that I'm going to do is go inside my Unreal Engine. In my Unreal Engine's header files, I will not be including anything, although I will be, let's say, adding a few basic classes, because I do want to declare a few variables before I define them inside my C++ file, because header files are just meant to declare stuff. So, what would I need from my character? I would need a camera so I can see from my character's point of view. I would need a spring arm that's attached to it. So first, I'm going to go with something like a uCamera components class, ending with a semicolon, and then I'm going to create a class for my uSpring arm component, because I will be needing this as well. In case you guys don't know what a spring arm component is, and you guys have some kind of industry experience, spring arm component is basically like a selfie stick or like a camera boom. Okay, that's it. Once I'm done with that, what else would I need? Since I am using input actions, I will be needing, let's say, a class called something like uInput action, Unreal's input action. Okay, and then since I did actually create a input mapping context as well, I'm going to go with something like a uInput mapping context. Okay, and I think that's about it. I would probably like, let's say, let me go to my Unreal Engine again. Now, the reason I create an input mapping context is if I double click this and I go, let's say, under my mappings here, and then I click the plus icon, go here, none, there we go. I'm going to go with IA move. So this is where I actually add my buttons. So I want to move if I hit W button. And when I click W, here's the thing. When I go forward or backwards, I'm practically moving in the Y-axis. So for actually having access to move in the Y-axis, I would need to add a modifier of my Swiss input axis value. That basically says me to move in the Y-axis. Although I'm going to click a plus here, and now I want to go backwards when I press S in my keyboard, and when I press S and I go backwards, going back is technically me moving in the Y-axis as well. So I think the most logical thing here would be to, let's say, create a Swiss input axis value. Okay, but if I just created a Swiss input axis value, I would be going in the exact same direction as my W, which means forward. So I'm going to go ahead and add another modifier called something like negate. Basically, negative Swiss input axis value. That's like about it. I think that was like kind of easy. Okay, that's it. Once I'm done with adding, whoops. Hold up, guys. There we go. Once I'm done adding the two of these, I'm going to click this again because I want to go towards the left and right as well. So I'm going to go with something like A, add the plus icon, and go with D. Now, when I click A, I want to go towards the left. So I will not be needing a Swiss input axis modifier because going towards the left or right is basically now in the x-axis. And by default, we do move in the x-axis. However, instead, I'm going to be needing, let's say, a negate modifier. I want to move in the negative x-axis. So my D is, it's going to, like, by default move in the positive x-axis. Like, that's about it. If you guys didn't understand, I mean, I could, like, explain that again. I mean, I'm not even, like, explaining, but I feel like, yeah, I think this is explanation. And that's it. So once I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and click the plus. And now, let's add another input mapping context. This time for my IA underscore look, which is basically me turning around depending on where my mouse moves, either in the x-axis or y-axis, while clicking my right mouse button. But the right mouse button part, I did not get to it just yet. That said, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go with something like my mouse. What up, guys? I'm gonna go here. Type something like mouse says x-axis. I want to move left or right depending on where my mouse moves in the x-axis, or I want to move up and down depending on where my mouse moves in the y-axis. Whoops. Let's go with mouse moves in the y-axis. Okay, and now that's pretty much it for my look action. That was kind of easy. Although, a tiny quiz, do you guys think I would need a modifier for either one of these? I think that since my mouse is working with a y-axis here, I would be needing a modifier Swiss input axis value. So let's go ahead and add that. There we go. Okay, now that's about it. Once I'm done with IA underscore move, once I'm done with IA underscore look, I'm going to go ahead and add another input map or another mapping. This is going to be for my IA underscore RMB, which is practically my right mouse button. For my right mouse button, let's say, would I need anything? It's just going to be my right mouse button, so I'm just going to click my right mouse button. There we go. Okay, so this is going to activate when my right mouse button is being clicked. Okay, and that's pretty much it for all my mappings. I'm just going to close them all up so they look kind of good. There we go. Okay, perfect. That's about it. Now, I'm going to move on down here to my header files again, where I was declaring these empty classes. And now I'm going to go ahead and let's say declare a structure as well. So I'm going to go with structure. I'll tell you guys in a bit while I'm actually adding the structure. Let's go with a structure of something like a u input axis value ending with a semicolon. So now basically what this structure here means is whenever I receive any kind of, whenever my let's say Unreal Engine receives any input, either it might be W, S, A, or D, it's gonna give me something like either a +1 value or a -1 value. So if it's +1, whatever my speed or velocity is, I'm gonna multiply that by +1 and I'm gonna move forward. Or if it's -1, I'm gonna multiply my speed or velocity, whatever it is, by negative. So I'm gonna get a negative value and go backwards. Same, I think the same principle applies for going towards the left and right as well. That said, once I'm done with that, is there something else that I want to do? Hello, hiding Sam, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that said, do you guys think there's anything else that I might want to do here? Maybe I want to go ahead and let's say, add a few new properties because I do want to categorize a bunch of inputs inside of my Unreal Engine so they know that I'm actually executing those inputs. Depending on what those inputs are, I'm later on going to go ahead and use that to bind my key controls to my inputs, if that makes any sense. And guys, 5 more likes for spinning the wheel of, should I call it the wheel of names? I think that's what it's called. Okay, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and let's say, any comments here that say something like, I don't know, maybe camera boom. Let's go with something like camera boom. So I'm firstly going to go ahead and create a U property for my camera boom and my spring arm and my follow camera, which is basically my camera component and my spring arm component. So for my camera boom, which is I could just clarify it. Let's go with something like spring arm component. Okay, so my camera boom, which is my spring arm component, I'm gonna go ahead and create a U property. Let's go with something like U property, where I want, let's say, my spring arm component to be visible anywhere. Okay, I want my spring arm component to, let's say, be blueprint read only. I only want my blueprint to be able to read it, not only edit it. I'm gonna go with something like only. And lastly, I want to organize or categorize it inside of a category called something like camera. Okay, and guys, the categorizing part I don't think is that important, but we just do it so I can just have camera make details panel because for now it's going to be like a small code, but eventually when it's bigger, organizing the code does matter. Okay, that's let's see. So once I'm done with this, once I'm done adding U property, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say create a pointer for my U spring arm component. Let's go with spring. What up, guys? SPRING arm component. And guys, the reason I'm typing awfully right now is because I want to show you guys how my setup is. I might actually show you guys in a bit. That's it. I'm going to represent this by something like a camera booms pointer, ending with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done with, let's say, creating a U property for my camera boom, I'm going to go ahead and create or add another comment. Let's say something for my follow camera. Okay, now technically, apparently the same exact principle applies here as well. It's just different values. For example, this is going to be my actual camera component. And why do I feel spring arm is like one word? There, that, no, I think it's two separate. I think it's two separate words, guys. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna go with something like camera component, in which I'm gonna create a new property. Let's go with PROPERTY. And then I'm gonna go with something like visible anywhere. I want my camera component to be visible anywhere. Lastly, I want my camera component to be blueprint read only, and I will be categorizing or organizing, let's say, my camera boom. Alright, guys, let's go with CATGRY to be something like camera. So my camera component is going to be organized inside my camera. Okay, that's it, guys. Make sure you guys like smash that like button. I think there's like 5 more likes left. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like a U camera component. Sure, let's go with camera component, which is going to be represented by a pointer called something like follow camera. Okay, and I feel like this is pretty much it for my spring arm component and my camera component. What is something that I might want to add after these? Let's see. So I have camera component, I have spring arm component. Now I might add a few U input action values, like a few U properties for my input action values, because I would be needing a move action, I would be needing a look action, move action for my IA move, look action for my IA look, and maybe even an RMB action for like my RMB look or my IA underscore RMB. That's it. I'm gonna go and add a comment. Let's go with move action first. So I'm gonna go with move action. In my move action, I'm let's say firstly gonna add a U property, because I feel like adding a U property is like always compulsory, because I'm assuming without a U property I would like what you call it, have the attributes of this, or like I wouldn't have any attributes in general. I gotta like fact check that though. There we go. My U property is gonna be, let's say I want my move action, I want to be able to edit it anywhere. The reason I said this to be edit anywhere is because eventually in my Unreal Engine's details panel, I'm gonna go ahead and link my let's say all my input action buttons here with my move actions, if that makes any sense, or with my actions in general here, because these are the actions that I'm gonna go ahead and use to bind my key controls to my actual program, if that made any sense, guys. Okay, guys, I think I made that sound really complicating, but it's honestly pretty easy. Okay, let's go with something like blueprint read only. Lastly, I'm going to go with a category to be equal to something like input. Okay, and now that's right about it. I'm going to go with something like input. Then I'm going to go ahead and create a pointer which represents my U input action. My pointer is going to be called something like maybe move action. There we go. Okay, once I'm done with this, I'm going to add another comment that says look action now. This is going to be in charge of me looking around, where I will be creating a U property in which I want my U property to be, let's say, edit anywhere. I want to be able to edit it anywhere. I want my U property to be something like blueprint read only. I only want my blueprint to be able to read this. Lastly, I'm going to categorize / organize it inside of a section called category that is going to be equal to inputs. Okay, and then once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and create another U input action, which again is going to be represented by a pointer called something like look action, ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then I'm going to add a comment called something like RMB action, because I do like have a right mouse button action, in which again I'm going to be needing a U property. And guys, if you guys feel like it's kind of tedious to type this, all you guys could do to save time is like just copy this up. The reason I like type this out myself is because I like typing. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and create something like a U input action value. Let's go with something like a U input action value, which is going to be not value, guys, just U input action, which is going to be represented by a pointer called something like RB action. And I think that's like right about it. Then I'm going to end this with a semicolon. Okay, now here's the thing about the right mouse button. Unlike my move and my look action, I wanted to have states, for example, true or false. When my right mouse button is being pressed, I don't want them to see like my mouse cursor. Instead, I want to let's say I want to like make my mouse cursor disappear. Hold on, guys, let me actually go here real quick. Okay, wait, hold on, guys. I went to the bird back screen. There we go. Okay, let me go to my main camera. There we go. Okay, let me just go ahead and close this up real quick. Okay, there we go. Just had to close it up. Okay, that's it now for my U input action, where I have my RB action. Let's say I'm gonna go ahead and do something. firstly, I'm gonna go ahead and guys, I forgot. Like, someone just came into my room, so like that kind of ruined my momentum. Where was I again? Okay, so I was in my R&B action. And in my R&B action, I'm going to be needing states where either if I'm clicking my right mouse button, I want my state to be true, and if I'm not clicking, I want it to be false. Only when my right mouse button is set to true, I want to vanish or like make my mouse pointer or my cursor, I want to hide it from my actual window, and I want to rotate myself. If I'm not pressing it, I want to make my cursor visible again, and I don't want to rotate myself. That might have sounded a bit tricky, but I think it's kind of easy. To do that, I'm just gonna, let's say, add a bunch of spaces here, and then I'm gonna go down here, and let's say I'm gonna go ahead and call this something like Boolean checks. Guys, I don't know a better name. For my Boolean checks, firstly, I'm gonna go with something like a Boolean variable called something like a B is RMB pressed, okay, which is initially going to be false. When I start my program, I don't want my RMB to be pressed by default. In the other hand, I'm going to add another comment called something like function. I thought there was a bug here. Okay, I'm going to go with something. Actually, I'll go with functions in general instead of like RMB functions. For my functions in general, I'm going to have, let's say, a white function here where I'm going to, let's say, go with something like RMB underscore pressed. Okay, so this is going to be if my right mouse button is pressed. Honestly, I might go with something like Boolean function checks, because I don't really want to link this with my actual function. This is just going to be my state functions. Okay, I'll go with something like state function check. State function check. There we go. Okay, so this is going to be RMB underscore pressed ending with a semicolon. And then I'll have another function called something like RMB underscore release with a parentheses ending with a semicolon. So while my right mouse button is being pressed, my RMB pressed is going to be initiated. While it's not, my RMB underscore released is going to be, let's say, invoked. That's sad. Guys, I think we need like 4 more likes to like hit our, hit the, what's it called? The first wheel of names. Okay, that's it. So once I'm done with this, hold up guys, let me actually mute myself. I mean, go here real quick. Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect, guys. I feel like I should like kind of lock my room. Like, there we go. Okay, maybe let me go ahead and eat something real quick. Now, for my state functions, firstly, I'm gonna go ahead and come on, guys. I honestly do not prefer when like people just barge in because like I forget what I was doing. Okay, that's it. Okay, so basically I just added my state functions. I'm going to control. Let's just save the code. Now that I've declared all my I've declared mostly all the content that I'm going to be using inside my header files. I'm going to move on to my C++ file and define everything that I've declared. For example, I'm going to go ahead and let's say include something from my game framework. So I'm going to go with something like game framework slash Spring Arm component. Let's go with Spring Arm component. And I'll tell you guys in a bit why I actually added this here. Technically, I could have added all these include header files inside. Actually, all these include header files inside of my Necromancer's header files. The reason I created empty classes is just to say my compiler when it runs my program that these things do exist, but they don't have any value for now. So just to give them value, I'm gonna go ahead and add all the header file, include all the header files in my C++ file here, if that made any sense. Okay, because the Necromancer's header file is just for definition. It's just for declaration. Definition is like C++, so this is where all the heavy code goes. Next up, I'm gonna go with something like camera component. So there we go. Let's go with camera component.h, which is basically my camera components and header file. Did I spell something wrong? There. Okay, camera component.h. I think it's correct. I think that's just my editor. Okay, so once I'm done adding my camera component as well, which was technically for my camera components class that I created here. Okay. Thirdly, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say this time I do have like U input action, U mapping context. Instead of adding the 2 of these, I will be adding enhanced input component and enhanced input subsistence header files, if that made any sense. Because practically input action value is something that's already inside of my enhanced input subsystems or like enhanced input components header file. That makes any sense? For example, I'm gonna go with something like enhanced enhanced input subsystems. Let's go with something like subsystems.h, and then I'm gonna go ahead and include. What up, guys? Let's go with something like include enhanced input components.h. So I'm gonna go ahead and include my enhanced input components as header files and my enhanced input subsystems as header files. enhanced input substms. Okay, I think it's correct. There we go. Now my enhanced input component is going to be used when I'm going to be binding my contents right here, and my enhanced input subsystem is going to be used for getting the values for like these two classes here. If that confusing thing made any sense, I think that was kind of tricky to explain. Okay, guys, I think we need 2 more likes. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Okay, I had a typo right here. Hold on, guys, let me fix this. Maybe let me go ahead and like mute myself as well. Hold on, guys, give me a sec real quick. Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. There we go. I thought there was just some background noises. Okay, that's it. So I'm gonna go with something like, let's go ahead and just fix my typo here real quick. So I'm gonna go with something like enhanced. I'm gonna go with something like enhanced input component dot h. There we go. And now lastly, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say include a final header file, which is basically gonna be my, let's say something like input action value.h, which is my input action values and header files. In case you guys didn't know what the input action value is, it's like my u input action value, right red axis. There we go. Okay, perfect. That's about it. enhanced input component. I think I spelled enhanced correct here, so it's include. Okay, my include is spelled correct. It's Guys, it was my editor. This is sometimes so annoying. Like my editor just gives me random red squeaky lines. Okay, now once I'm done with that, what is the next thing I want to do after including my headers? Let's say since I am using my Spring Arm component and my camera component, I want to actually construct them or display them inside of my Unreal Engine's editor here once I actually compile my code and drag my class in here. So that's the thing that we do in our I forgot, inside our constructor. Inside my constructor, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say add some content or create a default sub object for the camera component and the let's say Spring Arm component that I created. First, I'll go with Spring Arm component that is practically called Camera Boom. So I'm gonna go with something like Camera Boom, which is gonna be equal to, I'm gonna go with something like create default. Let's go with something like default sub object. There we go. Okay. Alright guys, let's go with something like object with a pair of ankle braces where I'm going to be requiring a parameter of my Spring Arm components. Let's go with Spring Arm component. And guys, this is one reason why including these headers are really important, because without that, the Spring Arm component is just an empty class that I declared here. There's no content whatsoever inside of it. Okay, and then I'm going to add a pair of parentheses to add a text. What do I want my camera boom to be called inside of my details panel, inside my Unreal Engine? I want it to be called camera boom. Okay, and now I might fix my typo here. I'm going to go with something like create default sub object. There we go. Okay, I think that's good. There we go. Okay, so once I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and end this with a semicolon. And then I'm going to get my camera boom here and point it towards, let's say something like maybe a setup attachment, because I do want to set up a attachment. I'm going to go with something like setup attachment with a pair of parentheses. Okay, now for my setup attachment, let's see. I might actually want my attachment to be a root component, because basically what a root component is that with my root component, I'm able to, let's say, move, turn, rotate, or scale my object, in this case my camera boom, which is my spring arm component, and also be able to see them do that, because without the root component I won't be able to see my object, in this case my spring arm component slash camera boom, move, turn, rotate, or being scaled. Guys, I feel I'm off for that explanation. That's it. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go with another point, another arrow mark operator. So I'm gonna go with something like my camera boom, okay, which points towards this time. I'm gonna go with something like let's see. I want to go with a target arm length. So my target arm length is basically, hold up guys, there we go. My target arm length, LENGTH, there we go, is basically going to be equal to how many centimeters away I want my actual camera boom, my spring arm component, my selfie stick to be from my actual character. I'll go with something like 23.f, ending with a semicolon. I want my camera boom to be 250 centimeters away from my actual character. And then I'm gonna go with something like camera boom, which points towards, let's say I'm gonna go with something like, I don't know, what is the third thing that I should go with? Maybe I could go with something like a boolean variable of use pawn control rotation. Let's go with something like use pawn control rotation. Okay, that is initially going to be set to true because I do want my pawn to be able, I do want to have a control rotation. Okay, so use PAWNCONTROL ROTATION. I think I spelled pawn control rotation right, didn't I? Let's go with interlessons here. Okay, use pawn control rotation. I think I spelled it wrong back there. Okay, that said, once I'm done with that, I'm gonna, let's say, go ahead and create another default sub object, this time for my follow camera. Is it called follow camera? Let me go up here. There we go, it is called follow camera. So my follow camera, which is my actual camera component, is going to be equal to a create default sub object. I'm going to go ahead and create a default sub object, which is going to be having a pair of anchored vertices, where I'm going to be adding a parameter of my uCamera component. Okay, and then let's add a text. What do I want to call my my camera, my follow camera inside my Unreal Engine, my actual camera component? I want to call it follow camera. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done with that as well, I'm going to do exactly what I did for my camera boom. I'm going to go with something like follow camera points towards a setup attachment. Let's go with something like a setup attachment. Okay, now here's the thing. Before you guys like completely like blindly follow what you wrote in like the first half of your constructing here, okay, we should think about this logically as well. So when I point my follow camera towards my setup attachment, having a parameter of my root component is going to make me an individual component of my own. Although I want my follow camera, my actual camera component, to be stuck to my camera boom, my spring arm component. So to do that, I'm going to be making my follow camera the child of my camera boom. So now my follow camera is attached with my root components. If that made any sense, guys, I do not think that made much sense. Let's eat something real quick. Okay, once I'm done with that, bye guys. Oh, and I just realized we just had like some likes. So I'm gonna go ahead and open a wheel of names here. Bro, use Claude. Honestly, I did try Claude, but then I feel like Gemini was a bit more helpful. Speaking of which, I think that I actually got a pretty good grasp of how to use enhanced inputs. I wouldn't need any help to actually do that stuff. Let's spin it. And guys, in case you guys didn't know, like, we just hit 11 likes up here, in case you guys can see it. Okay, is it gonna stop in squats? I guess we're doing squats, guys. Hey man, I have a question. What question? Gnan, is that pronounce your name? That said, I guess we gotta do like 10 squats now. I'm gonna go ahead and close this. Let me go ahead and open my main camera real quick. Alright guys, there we go. And guys, I've never like actually done workout streams, so I mean I might actually do one this Thursday, depending on how you guys respond to my community post that I'm going to be adding. Okay, that's the camera is kind of blurry, isn't it? Shut up guys, what happened to the camera? Okay, what if I go a bit further? Is it still going to be blurry? Or does it focus up? Okay, maybe I go ahead and just close my OBS. What up guys, let me just go ahead and check this real quick. Let's go to my camera. There we go, let's close it, open it. Okay, apparently it's kind of blurry. I'm gonna go ahead and restart my OBS real quick. Hold up, guys. All stream will be shut down. Okay, never mind. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Okay, as long as you guys can see me. So I got it to like 10 squats. I'm pretty sure we do squats this way. Guys, I feel like this is kind of awkward, but that was number 1. That's number 2. That's number 3. I just realized how... whatchamacallit. Let's actually do the squats first. That's 4. I feel I'm not athletic, guys. That's number 5. Then that's 6. Okay, let's go with 7. And last 3. This is going to be 8. That's going to be 9. And there we go. 10. Guys, I just realized how not athletic I am. And the camera kind of ruined this up. Like, let me restart like my camera real quick. Okay, what if I like show it an apple? That was kind of annoying though, because my first work on it is kind of blurry. Okay, what happened to the focus though? What if I just close it from here? Did that fix it? It does not? Now I fixed it, guys. Okay, I've been wanting to learn how to make a game and looked into some game engines and ended up with Godot. Is it worth it? Honestly, I haven't like started Godot just yet. That's it. Should I learn it? I don't know C++ or C#. All I know is basic Python. Okay, if you're actually working with like game development, I would recommend either working with C++ that I've been doing or working with C# if you prefer like the Unity engine, because I think that since I'm using like Unreal Engine, this is the only engine that I could recommend besides SDL. I would like actually tell you to like start off by learning C++ and then working with SDL, because SDL is like pretty simple, but then you do gotta do everything yourself, so that gives you pretty hands-on experience as to like writing actual code type stuff and then like compiling the code. Then if you were to move to Unreal Engine just like I did, things at first would be a bit harder. For example, the syntaxes, the function names and all that stuff. But eventually, once you get a grasp of it, you'll have more control over everything you do type stuff. For example, you can start working with like AAA games, and instead of like loading in PNGs like how we did in SDL, you would probably load an actual mesh and all that stuff. That's it, guys. I'm out of breath. I didn't know I was not this athletic. Okay, that's it. 8 more likes for the second meal. Oh, and guys, let me know like once we hit 5 likes in the horizontal stream. Let me just go ahead and just get this here. There we go. Okay, wait. Alright, guys, I forgot to check my horizontal stream because every 5 likes in horizontal stream is like either 10 push-up squats or sit-ups. The reason I did that is because vertical stream often gets like way more views than horizontal, and like guys, I feel like I'm way too unathletic to like actually work on, because there are like few verticals that have like 1,000-ish likes. That's going to be kind of awful, guys. Okay, let's go here. Let's go something with pawn control rotation. I'm going to go with something like rotation, which is going to be false here. There. Okay, guys, I think I really do need that workout stream someday. Okay, let's just go ahead and pause it. Hold up, guys. I'm just opening my vertical stream as well so I can like keep a track of the like. Okay, the vertical stream needs 3 more likes. That wouldn't be that hard. There we go. Okay, so for the time being, once I'm done actually adding my pawn control rotation and create 2 default sub objects, I'm gonna move on to, let's say, my begin play. And now here, inside my begin play, I'm gonna go ahead and get access to my subsystems. For my subsystems, let's say I'm gonna go ahead and add a if statement. Although before if statement, I'm firstly gonna check if it is my player's actual controller that I'm actually looking for, because if it's some other controller, I don't want to accept that. I'm gonna go with something like a player controller. So I'm gonna go with something like a player controller. And guys, if I can't explain properly, it's because I'm kind of out of breath right now. So should I start with C sharp? Thanks, I really appreciate the advice. Honestly, yeah, you could like start with C sharp as well, because like you could like it really like depends on which language you feel like that is better for you type stuff. Because SDL does like work with C sharp and C++, maybe a few other languages, and Unreal. Okay, Unreal is for C++. If you are using C sharp, I would like recommend going to Unity, because Unity is like a game engine for like C sharp. Can you run it? Honestly, I'm not like completely done. Like if I run it, nothing much is gonna happen, because I gotta go ahead and load stuff in here as well. That said, I do like have a project almost similar to this that I created. I could like run that in a bit to like show you guys what it's gonna look like eventually. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like a player controller, which is gonna be having a parameter here, actually, which is gonna be represented by a pointer called something like let's go with PC player controller. That is going to be equal to, let's say I'm going to go with cast. My cast is going to be my A player controller. Okay, with a pair of parentheses, I want to go ahead and set this to be my controller. I think I spelled controller wrong. Hold up, guys, let's go with something like CONTROLLER. And guys, I feel like I just got like 5 hours of sleep yesterday, so I'm kind of drowsy right now. For that, I use my protein shaker. Okay, 90 seconds. Honestly, guys, oh, that does sound kind of cool. Okay, let me just go ahead and chunk this up real quick. And in case you guys are like wondering what this is, it's like I think it's a beer company. And guys, this is not my sponsor. Okay, so it's plant protein. It says it's pretty good because it has like 0 sugar and like 15 grams of protein. So I think that might be kind of good. Okay, gotta like actually get on my buffing game type stuff. Okay, that's sad. I'm gonna go with something like an if statement. Let's type something like if my player controller is not equal to, I'm gonna go with something like not equal to, let's say null PDR. So if my player controller did not return null, then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. Let's say I'm gonna, okay, what is it that I wanna do if my player controller was null? Firstly, I wanna go ahead and get my players a subsystem. So I'm gonna go with something like if a pair of parentheses, if my U enhanced, okay, ENHANCED, if my U enhanced input local player subsystem, which is going to be represented by a pointer called something like subsystem, is let's say equal to something like, I'm gonna go ahead and get my U local player. So I'm gonna go with something like U local player. Alright up, guys, let's go with U local player. Okay, and then with a scope resolution operator, PLA, did I spell player wrong? So it's U local player, not get. Okay, I'm gonna go with U local player with a scope resolution operator, where I'm gonna go ahead and get my subsystem. Now my is it gonna be subsystems? I think it's subsystem, where I'm gonna have a pair of ankle braces here. And can you guys guess what my subsystem is gonna be? A little hint. It's gonna be my U enhanced input local player subsystem. So I'm gonna go ahead and paste it here. Okay, and then I'm gonna add a pair of parentheses where I'm gonna tell that my player controller, okay, is gonna be, let's say, pointing towards, I'm gonna go with something like get local player. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my local player, LOCALPLEYER. Okay, this is gonna be a get local players function. And now that's about it. Once I'm done with this, I'm gonna go with a pair of curly braces. In my pair of curly braces, what is something that I want to do? I've used my cast here that I checked. So if my player controller is exactly this player controller that I'm talking about, that's when I do this stuff. Although I did create a subsystems as pointer here that I did not use, so that's what I'm going to be using here. I'm gonna go with subsystem, which let's say points towards a add mapping context. Okay, let's go with mapping context. And in case you guys, this is the mapping context is function. And in case you were here like for a while in the stream, you guys might remember that I have my I would have my AI to do all this grunt work. Honestly, that would make sense. Once you guys are like pretty good at programming, AI would be like a really good resource. Like I could actually say AI to like do this as well. The reason I type it is because before I say AI to like implement a kind of code, I want to understand what it does, because eventually there's going to be like a certain limit as to what AI could do, because AI does like critical thinking, so it cannot like innovate stuff, and we humans won't be able to innovate stuff as well if we don't really understand the basic concepts. So before using AI, I would recommend to understand the mechanics behind what's going on. Hi, are you using Vulkan? Honestly, I'm using like Unreal Engine. Okay, that's it. Let's see. So I did create a input mapping context here, which is exactly what's gonna go in here. Although before I do get my input mapping context in there, I want to create a U property for it. So let's say I'm going to create a U property for it. I'm gonna add a comment called something like maybe default mapping. You guys could call it anything. I'm gonna go with something like default mapping because this is what maps my keys that I press, and depending on that, it does stuff. That's it. Let me check if we hit like the lights. Even if you wanted to specify each little detail, you could at least do the text-to-speech instructions. I mean, I could actually do that, but I think like the reason I write it down is because I type it out is because I feel it's much better for me to learn if I actually explain what I'm saying because I do understand myself as I explain. That said, guys, make sure you guys smash the like in my horizontal stream because after 5 likes, I will be spinning the wheel again where I'm gonna either be doing 10 push-up squats or sit-ups. I hope it's not squats. I hate doing squats. Okay, that said, I'm gonna go with default mapping where in my default mapping, I'm gonna create a U property. Okay, in which I want, let's say, my U property to be, I want to be able to edit it anywhere. I want it to be blueprint read only, so I'm gonna go with something like blueprint read only. Okay, and lastly, I want my default mapping this category, let's go with category, to be equal to something like camera. Okay, and that's about it. Then I'm going to go ahead and create a pointer representing my U input mapping context, where my pointer is going to be my default mapping. Spelling mistakes aside, ending with a semicolon, I'm going to copy my U input mapping context, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste it here. Excuse me, guys. There we go. That should be good and fix everything. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to hit Control to save the code. Now, in my C++, did I have a typo in my category here? Pretty sure I did. There we go. How did I have a typo again? There we go. Okay, so now that I've actually declared my pointer there, I'm going to go ahead and use it here. Inside my add mapping context, I'm going to be requiring a parameter of my default mapping. Okay, and then I'm going to be requiring another parameter of my priority, which is going to be 0. Priority basically means that we could have like a bunch of different movement types. For example, this is for me walking around. If my priority is 0, when I'm not doing something else, I'm going to walk around. In the other hand, if I added something like a riding system where I could ride a bike, when I get in the bike, my priority for this default mapping is going to be, for example, 1. In my priority 1, while I'm above a bike, I want to ride a bike. While I'm above a truck, I want to ride the truck. While I'm in a boat, I want to sail the boat, type stuff. Okay, I'm a bit confused. Why is this all one file? Aren't you going to have to refactor a bunch later when you add more features? Actually, I would, to be honest, but then the reason this is like 2 separate files because all this content does go inside my actual characters' class. But I do know what you mean. Eventually, I will be learning to like chunk codes up and like make different segments of code and then try to add that code inside a certain project, like attach them together like Lego pieces, if that makes any sense. Okay, that's it. Let me check. Guys, we need 4 more likes for like spinning the wheel again, so make sure you guys smash the like button. Okay, so once I'm done adding my, let's say, enhanced inputs and subsystems, I'm going to go and cancel that. There we go. And then next up, I'm going to go ahead and work on defining a few functions that I declared. The first function that I might declare could be something like my move function. So I'm going to go with something like move function. Okay, where I'm going to go ahead and create a white function called something like move. Okay, but here's the thing. I did not really declare my function in my header file to be able to define it there. What spelling did I mess up here? CATEGORY, blueprint read only, edit anywhere. I'm going to just copy this. Oh, it says camera. This is going to be inputs. There we go. Okay, perfect. I'm going to Control S to save the code. Now, let's get back up here. Okay, so firstly, I'm going to go back to my header files here. And where am I messing up? I'm going to go ahead and just copy this. I might have a typo here that I can't see. Let's go ahead and paste it. I did definitely have a typo, but this should fix it all. So let's say under my state function, I'm going to add a comment which says something like functions. These are going to be my general functions, where I'm going to go ahead and create a white function called something like move, which requires a constant parameter. I don't want this parameter to change at all, so I'm going to go with the constant parameter of my f inputs action value. And in case you guys again weren't sure from when I started streaming, basically what the f input action value is, which again I declared the structure here, it's basically when I actually type WASD or any kind of input in general, my Unreal Engine gives me either -1 or +1 value. And then I multiply that -1 to my velocity, my speed, that gives me negative speed. If it's a positive value, I multiply with my speed, it gives me a positive speed, so I go forwards, negative backwards. What you're building, honestly, I'm building like a necromancy game where I can actually summon objects. If you guys know the, I think it's the word arise from solo leveling, that's kind of cool. Why are you deleting my messages? Honestly, I'm not like deleting any messages. It's usually Nightbot that actually does that if your message goes against the, I think the terms or policies or something like that. Because I did like add a few words that is restricted, but mostly it's like YouTube the words as restricted, so Nightbot automatically filters those out, which is like highly appropriate words. That said, I feel like I'm kind of generous when it comes to like blocking words. I just block the words that might hurt others. Okay, looks like character control. Yeah, for now I am like adding work on key controls type stuff. Okay, that's it. Now that I'm done creating a move class here, I'm gonna go ahead and create another function called something like look that again requires a constant parameter of my f input action value. So let's go with something like value, ending with a semicolon. And guys, we need like 2 more likes in case you guys can see from here. Okay, so we need 2 more likes for like spinning the wheel again. While I'm actually doing that, I might actually eat some apples. Okay, now in my move function, from my wire, I'm gonna go with something like... There we go, from my A Necromancer class. Bro is a professional yapper, guys. I gotta keep the stream entertained while actually focusing on my work as well. It's kind of tricky. Let's go with Necromancer. And would you guys believe if I tell you guys I'm actually a pretty quiet guy if you guys meet me like in person type stuff? Like I don't actually talk unless I really need to. That's it. I'm gonna go with something like what? A Necromancer. And unless that I'm not teaching someone, because I do like to teach a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like for real, he should teach a course or something. Guys, I really want to do that someday. Okay, that's it. So I'm gonna go with something like what? A Necromancer's class, where I'm gonna go ahead and get access to my move function. Now, my move function is going to be requiring a constant parameter of, let's say, something like an f input action value. There we go. Which is going to be requiring the memory address of, let's say, something like a value this parameter. And then I'm going to go ahead and enter with a semicolon. Actually, a semicolon with a pair of curly braces. Now, I did like forget a tiny bit of detail here. This is going to also require a parameter or the memory address of my value. Same goes here. I'm going to go with something like value. Okay, and then I'm going to control it to save the code, go back to my C++. In my C++ file for my move function. Okay, now here's a basic thing. If I do want to move my player, there are two basic things that I would need. First is going to be scale value. Second is going to be a world direction. Scale value is, do I want to move positive direction in front or negative direction? It returns either -1 or +1, which I then multiply with my speed. And then I require world direction. Which way is the nose of my player or the chest of my player facing? Forwards, backwards, left, or right? Are you working towards building a full-fledged game or just learning just learning by making small segments? I'm actually learning by making small segments because I feel like once I get a pretty good grasp of these basic details, then I can actually implement all of those on my own type stuff. That's it, guys. Make sure you guys like smash the like button. 2 more likes for like spinning the wheel again. Okay, let's see. So, I'm firstly gonna add a comment that says something like scale value. For my scale value, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say create an f vector 2D. Now, here's the thing. The reason I created an f vector 2D is because I only want to move with my x-axis and y-axis. If I wanted it to be 3D, if I wanted to add something like a flight feature, then I would have just gone with an f vector, which is basically 3-dimensional. But for now, I'm just going to go with 2D because I just want to have access to my x-axis and y-axis, where I'm going to go in and represent it by something like a movement vector is a local variable. Let's go with something like movement vector, okay, which is going to be represented by a pointer called something like, I don't know, maybe my bad, not a pointer, which is going to be equal to my values is memory address, or my value is the memory address dot the get Okay, with a pair of ankle braces that requires the parameter of my f vector two-dimensional or 2D with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon. That's about it to get my scale value. What do I okay, what I do is describe to my chat GPT what I want and it prompts my GitHub Copilot to implement. Okay, then I just copy paste back into chat GPT to verify. Actually, that does work as well because like uh AI is like really helpful when it comes to like actually programming these things and all that stuff. But the reason I don't use AI just for the time being is because I want to like understand the mechanics behind everything I'm doing. Eventually, once this is like muscle memory and really easy to do, that's when I'm going to be using AI because AI does not make mistakes and all that stuff. But before I do ask AI for help, I want to like try experiencing to write this on my own. Okay, you should also do Roblox Studio. It's going to be fun. Actually, I think I tried Roblox Studio once. It was pretty fun, but back then I used to not like script. I used to only like model. But I might try that eventually. That's it, guys. Need one more like. What up, guys? Let me actually check if you guys can actually see it. So let's go to my OBS up here real quick. There we go. Okay, in case you guys can't see it, I don't want to like ruin my zoom again. Let's go to something like the main camera. Okay, you guys cannot see it. I just need like another like for spinning the wheel again. That's it. I'm gonna go here. Because guys, last time my first ever view that I spent like at 10 likes, it kind of ruined everything. Doing grunt work actually helps run faster. That actually does make sense. Mm. There we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get my players in rotation based on where my camera is facing. Guys, let me check if we hit 5 likes in the horizontal stream. Okay, did not get. Make sure you guys actually whatchamacallit, move on and like the horizontal stream as well, because every 5 likes I do like spin the wheel again. That's it. So basically my the get rotation based on where I face is I'm going to be looking through my camera. My player's eyes is technically my camera. So in enhanced inputs, I don't use like get actor forward vector. I don't see which way my character is facing. Instead, I see which way my camera is facing, so we get more control rotation. I guess I'm not sure. I really need to learn the coding language. Okay, I guess I'm not sure. I really need to learn the coding language at all anymore. Honestly, I mean, it's actually like I've seen people they actually make good apps and everything without doing a single block of without like writing a single block of code or anything. That does work as well. It really depends. If you guys do enjoy writing code and programming, solving problems, it would like be really fun to write code and all that stuff. But if you guys just want to get the apps and all that stuff, because actually prompting is another skill that's really hard to master, so you guys could like learn that as well. But it really depends, to be honest. So now to get my camera, I'm firstly going to go with something like an F rotator, okay, which is going to be represented by pointer. And guys, I just realized we hit 20 likes, so I'm going to go all the way up here. Let's get the wheels again. Last time it stopped at squats. This time let's see what it stops at. I did not want it to stop at squats again, guys. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's gonna stop at sit-ups. I think I'll be good with sit-ups. Okay, guys, I think I got this. Okay, let's go ahead and close. Now, gonna remove that. Let's go to my OBS. Now, let's go to my main camera. And guys, the reason I could like really do this is because like I have a lot of space behind me right now. That said, can you guys actually see me if I move my chair a bit here? What up, guys? Let's go out of here. Okay, by squats, it is like 10. Actually, by sit-ups, it is like 10 sit-ups. Unless you guys can't see me, I'll just get this a little lower. There, I think you guys should be able to see me now. There we go. Okay, so if I'm not wrong, this is how we actually do sit-ups. Just gotta sit. Okay, and guys, I'm not like, let's count first. That's 1. And that's 2. That's 3. And guys, I'm actually keep a count as to how many am I doing. Okay, I think that was 4. That's 5. And I think I'm not like really used to doing workout streams, so this does feel kind of awkward. That was 6. That was 7. That was 8. Might get a bit in front. That was 9. And that's 10. Guys, I feel like my abs are burning just after doing like, I think like, was it like 10 sit-ups? Also, this makes more sense because like usually when I stream, I don't really pay much attention to my health. Okay, let's go up here. I feel like I'm going to be way too fit after the stream is done. Okay, that's it. 5 likes in the horizontal and another 10 likes in the vertical stream for spinning the wheel again. I think that was kind of exhausting, guys. That said, next up for my rotation, I'm gonna go ahead and use my F rotator. Let's go with F rotator. Okay. And the F rotator is basically used to get my players in rotation. I think I'm not warmed up. It kind of hurt my back. Okay, let's go with FROTATOR. There we go. Which is going to be represented by a local variable called something like rotation that requires the parameter. Guys, I might want to eat apple real quick. There we go. Not bad, guys. It's a local variable, not a function. Okay, my F rotator's rotation is going to be equal to, I'm going to go with something like, let's say, my get control rotation. From whom do I want to get my control rotation? Let's think. I want to go ahead and get my control rotation from... Okay, should I go with something like controller? There we go. So from my players' controller, I want to go ahead and get my control rotation. Okay, and then I go ahead and this way semicolon. The reason I kind of stuttered or like got stuck in this part for a second is because, guys, I'm not used to working out and like writing code at the same time while actually commentating. Okay, next up, once I'm done with getting my rotation, I'm gonna go with another F rotator, ROTATOR. Okay, which is going to be, let's say, represented by a local function this time called something like rotation. Okay, or I might go with yaw rotation. It really depends. You can name it anything. Okay. Now my yaw rotation is going to be requiring three parameters. First is going to be 0. Second is going to be my rotation.yaw. Third is going to be 0. Basically what this does is an actual rotation has three different kinds of rotations. Hold up, guys. I think I didn't fix my camera. There we go. Okay, guys should probably let me know that I don't have my camera fixed. There we go. Okay, perfect. Let me get this a bit lower. A bit higher, I guess. There. Okay, so basically what these three kinds of rotations actually does, there's like X, Y, there's like yaw, pitch, and roll. So I flattened out my pitch rotation here. I kept my yaw rotation and I flattened out my roll rotation here. So now technically I'm only in my X-axis. So it's kind of like a paper that I flattened a cube to like a plane, if that makes any sense. Okay, I don't know which career to pick. I'm interested in data analyst plus Harini, is that I pronounce it? Plus Unreal in tech and artistic, but okay, by that suggests me a better career job to focus on. Honestly, I couldn't actually really suggest you unless you actually like all three genres like equally, because it really depends. Because if I don't like software engineering or like software development and I actually do it, it's going to be a nightmare because I gotta like program and problem solve a lot. Although if I, for example, didn't like AI engineering and I did this, I would still like, I would want to do AI engineering. I mean, wait, hold on, guys, to give you the wrong example. If I, for example, did not like AI engineering, but it pays better than, let's say, maybe, I don't know, what is a different job? Give me an example. I don't want to like say or like call any jobs out. Let's think. Okay, rather than a certain job here, even if I do that job at first, sure, I could do it for the money, but then later on, I am gonna like exhaust myself. So I would like recommend to explore all these areas and see which you enjoy the most, and which you enjoy the most. I would like recommend you to stick to that type stuff. But first, the exploration process is really important, so you know what you like. I think I did not actually phrase that properly. Okay, are you a professional game dev, like with a job in a field, or learning out of interest? I'm actually learning out of interest. Me or host, I'm not a game dev. I'm trying to get into automation and workflow systems. That actually sounds kind of cool. And hold up, guys. Let me just go ahead and check if you hit 5 likes. Okay, we did not. We need 3 more likes in the horizontal and 10 more likes in the vertical. Make sure you guys actually smash the like button. I think of prompt engineering like directing a dancer instead of animating a character frame by frame. That does make sense. Okay, that's next up. I'm gonna go ahead and add, let's say, a world direction. Okay, because again, to actually add movement to my player, I need 2 important things: a scale value that I created and a world direction. Which way is he facing? To get my world direction, let's say I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna firstly add a f vector. Okay, let's go with the ECTOR. Excuse me, guys, and you guys could notice here, unlike what I did here with my scale value where I went with x vector 2D, I just added an f vector here because this is like a three-dimensional vector that I'm talking about, because I could go ahead and even look in my yaw rotation, pitch rotation, or even my road rotation, if that makes any sense. I could like turn around 360 or like even 360 in every direction. That's it. I'm going to call this something like forward vector. Okay, so my forward direction, actually, that might sound much better. Okay, my forward direction is going to be charge of me looking in front of me or behind me, where I'm going to set this equal to be something like f rotation matrix's function, ROTATION matrix with a pair of parentheses that requires, let's say, a parameter of my yaw rotation, okay, which is basically a flattened out rotation dot yaw. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the dot get unit axis. I'm going to go ahead and get my unit axis with a pair of parentheses that requires a parameter of an e-axis, which is going to be an x-axis, ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing down here as well for my right direction. I'm going to go with an f vector. Then let's say add something like right direction. Okay, might come and watch our streams on a regular basis, guys. I feel like that's actually a W. Appreciate you. Aka, is that pronounced your name? You guys, that actually means the world to me. That's it. I'm gonna go with something like a f rotation matrix, because I will be needing a rotation matrix as well for getting my right direction. My right direction is going to be in charge of me rotating towards the left or towards the right, if that made any sense. This again requires a parameter of my rotation, of my yaw rotation. Let's go with yaw rotation. Okay, and then I'm going to go and use the get unit axis. I'm going to go ahead and get my unit axis, where my e-axis is going to be my y-axis, ending with a semicolon. Oh, guys, here's a tiny mistake that I actually this thing. When you move forward or backwards, that is actually our y-axis. And when you move towards the left or right, which is my right direction here, that is going to be our x-axis. Okay, that's about it. Once I'm done with this, lastly, I'm going to go ahead and add my movement vector. There we go. Now, to add movement vector, I'm going to actually, there we go, title case style. Okay, hiding tip, I appreciate you joining the stream. And guys, make sure you guys smash the like button, because like 10 more likes and I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel again. Okay, so I'm going to go with something like add movement vector. I'm going to use the add movement input, not vector. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add my movement input, which requires two parameters. This is what I was telling you guys earlier. My movement input is function. This is the function that really moves my player. It requires a world direction that we didn't create any scale value. You guys can ignore the Boolean force here. I did not ever use that. Okay, so now my world direction is going to be my world direction right here. And my scale value is going to be my movement vector. Okay, let's go ahead and paste this here. But here's a tiny catch. My movement vector shows it red underlined because I got to specify whether or not I want to move in the x-axis or y-axis. Again, forward vector is for y-axis. I'm going to go with y-axis. And then I'm going to end this with a semicolon. And lastly, I'm going to go ahead and add another movement, M-O-V-E-M-E-N-T, input, which now requires, let's say, something like my right direction as a parameter. I'm going to go ahead and paste it here. Okay, and it requires a movement vector, but you guys could like type it. I don't know why am I copy pasting it. And I did not camel case it. I might camel case this as well. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to go ahead and paste it here. Wait, did I not copy that? There we go. Let's copy it. Let's paste it here. And let's paste it here. There. Okay, that's about it. I'm going to go with something like movement vector dot x-axis. Okay, because technically moving towards the left or right in my right direction is going to be x-axis. Okay, bro, just do whatever you want to instead of AI slopping here. Okay, 90% of the time I come here, you're writing movement logic. Honestly, guys, that's actually pretty strange because, like, I rarely write movement logic. The reason I am really writing this right now and not using the old word that I wrote is because I did not actually use Unreal Engine for 3 whole days. Because yesterday I did, like, work with, Blender, and the other 2 days I was working on just moving around and like shifting places. So I'm just writing this to like brush my memory up because I don't want to get rusty here while actually improving somewhere else. That's it. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna now go ahead and bind my functions here. Alright, guys. There we go. So to bind my functions, first I'm gonna go ahead and add an if statement. In my if statement, I'm gonna go ahead and check if my U enhanced input, let's say something like component, which is going to be represented by a pointer called EIC. And in case you guys, let me fix my typo real quick. Let's go with something like UENHANCED enhanced input component. There we go, which is represented by a pointer called EIC is equal to cast check. And here's the thing, guys. How can I use my enhanced input component here? Is it because I included my enhanced input subsystems, or because I included my enhanced input component? It's because I included my enhanced input components in header files. Is that I could use my enhanced input component right here? I just want to say that. Okay, W Music playlist, let's go, guys. The fun fact is it's copyright free as well from YouTube Music. That's it. I'm gonna go with something like cast check, which is going to be having again my U enhanced input component that I'm gonna go ahead and paste it here. And then add a pair of parentheses. Let's add a pair of parentheses. Okay, and in my pair of parentheses, I'm gonna copy my player input component and paste it here. Cast check. CHECKED. Why is there a red underline here? Let me think. Cast check. I think it's correct. I'm just gonna blame my editor for this. There we go. Because my Visual Studio for some reason just gives me the red squeaky lines for no reason. Speaking of which, guys, make sure you guys smash that like button, because 10 more likes and them. I'm gonna go ahead and do the next workouts, or I'm gonna spin the wheel that's gonna either decide whether or not I'm gonna be doing squats, sit-ups, or push-ups. Haven't done push-ups yet. That said, I'm gonna go with something like bind move action. Okay, so to bind my move action, I'm firstly gonna go with EIC, which is my enhanced input component. Pointed towards, I'm gonna go with the bind actions as function. Now, my bind actions function does require firstly correct spelling. There we go. Does require a few parameters. The first parameter is going to be my action name, which in this case is going to be my move action. Which editor is this? It is like Visual Studio 2022. I did not have time to use Visual Studio 2026. That is the latest version though. Although I might actually try that when I have time, because for now I do have college and it's really much. Okay, because I think I got 4 exams next week, which is actually after this week's this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm going to have exams next week, if that makes any sense. Okay, so after I'm done adding my action name, I'm going to be requiring a trigger event, a e-trigger event type, where if my move action has been triggered on this object, the third parameter is an object, I want to do what, let's say, I want to do what this functions is, or I want to do what this character classes functions memory address tell me to do, guys. I cannot phrase this. Okay, I'm going to go with something like move. There we go, and then I'm going to go ahead and end this with a semicolon. I'm just going to add an address of operator here. Basically, what this really means is, this is my action name. So if this action has been triggered on this object, I want to do what this function tells me to do. That's how I like to read it. Next up, once I'm done with my move action, I'm going to go ahead and go with something like a look action, because I do want my player to look around as well. So I'm going to go with something like bind look action. I'm going to go with something like bind look action. Alright, guys, there we go. Okay, for my bind look action, because I just checked your stream 4 days ago and the previous ones too, and most of these streams you're just writing movement logic since you started Unreal. Honestly, I feel like you probably didn't watch my entire stream, because sometimes, of course, we do need to start movement logic, because I don't want my player to be static and all that, so I'm not moving. After that, if my stream 4 days ago, if you just completely check till the end, it was a necromancer logic where I summoned object type stuff using clicks. That was kind of fun. I want to do that actually. Okay, this is kind of motivating me to code more. That actually sounds kind of cool. I would recommend you to code more as well, because I feel it gets kind of fun, to be honest. Okay, that's next I'm going to go with something like enhanced input component that points towards a bind action, where again it's gonna be the same way I'm gonna read this out. I'm gonna go with something like actually look action. So if my look action has been triggered, I'm going to go with something like a e trigger event. If my look action has been triggered, okay, on let's say something like this object, I want to go ahead and do what my what my look function tells me to do. I did not really create it yet. I'm really kind of busy to create it right now. Okay, how are you doing, Boyd? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that's it. Once I'm done with my look action, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say bind my RMB action. This is my right mouse button action. And how am I really binding these actions? I did not really define them up there. Well, I'm just kind of taking the shortcuts here. First, I'm going to just bind it all. Then I'm going to go ahead and add those functions here. Okay, I'm going to go with enhance separate component. And guys, I might not be able to keep going, bro. I appreciate you, bro. That actually means the world to me, guys. Okay, that said, I might not be able to work on my entire summoning logic because I do have like a lot of dues today for my college, so I might have to like do that once I'm done with this part. But tomorrow I will be continuing this. I think I'm gonna stream like for 30 more minutes type stuff. That's it. I'm gonna go with something like a bind action. Let's go with something like, what up, guys? I'm gonna go with something like a bind action. There, I'm gonna be requiring the memory address of my RMB underscore or my RMB action. And now here's the thing, guys. For my binding action, I will be having two states. One state is going to be when my RMB is pressed. The other state is going to be when my RMB is released, which means it's not pressed. So, for my e-trigger event, I'm going to go with something like trigger. Your messy hair prove that you already become a real programmer, guys. It sounds kind of cool because before I used to have, I used to blow dry my hair straight, but these days I did not have time at all. So I just feel like messy hair is much better. Alright, guys, let me actually give my messy hair some camera time here. Okay, let's see. I actually think it's kind of messy. Maybe gotta shampoo it. But I mean, I think the messy hair looks good. Let's go to my play screen now. Okay, perfect. Was I even in the center of my screen? What up, guys? Let's go and extend that. There we go. Okay, I thought I wasn't in the center of my screen. So, I'm gonna go with something like started. Let me actually check if we hit like 5 likes. Okay, we're still at 2 likes in the horizontal, guys. That's kind of crazy. Make sure you guys smash the like in the horizontal. I do want to try to, add a, spin the wheel once for my horizontal stream as well. That's it. I'm going to go with something like this. So, if my RMB action has started, if I click my RMB action on this object, I want to go ahead and do what the memory address of this function says. RMB underscore press function tells me to do. Memory address or the address of operator and the address of operator honestly look like Gento user. Honestly, I haven't heard of like Gento user, but it sounds kind of cool. Honestly, what's it about? Okay, now here's the thing. I have two functions that I created here. One is for RMB pressed and the other is for RMB released. So the most logical thing here would be to create another bind action for the same exact action. So I'm gonna go with bind action for my RMB action. Okay, there I'm gonna go with something like a e-trigger event. Okay, now if my e-trigger event, if my RMB action has been completed, while I'm no longer clicking my RMB or my right mouse button anymore, while I'm not clicking this no longer in this object, I want to do what the memory address of this function tells me to do. The function is going to be RMB underscore released ending with a semicolon. And that's about it for like my RMB actions. Okay, programmer plus stress equals to bald, guys. I don't really want to go bald, but then I feel I have enough hair, guys. Don't worry, I do not stress. The only thing I just stay up like drinking some of my protein shake here. I think it's like coffee, caramel coffee. Good thing it has zero sugar, because in case you guys didn't know, I did not drink sugar at all. Okay, that said, I guess I'll just go ahead and drink some of this. It's kind of bitter, but I feel it's nice. Okay, that's it. And guys, here's like a fun fact. I don't think that programming is stressful at all, unless I'm doing it like for a college assignment, which apparently I'm learning Python from one of my programming courses. And I feel it's so awful there. Like, I like to program for fun, but I feel it's kind of fun. Programmer plus addict equals to psycho nerd. Guys, I feel psycho nerd is actually kind of crazy. I don't even have my glasses right now. I actually forgot where I kept my glasses. I just moved on to like a new house, but then I have all my stuff scattered everywhere. The only thing in front of me is like my mouse, my keyboard, my water bottle, my webcam, and my screens, and my PC too, with Wi-Fi. Okay, that's it now. I have look function, I have RMB functions. So I'm gonna go to my C++ file, and let's say I'm gonna define a few classes that I've declared in my header files. Let's go ahead and define my look function here. So I'm gonna go with look function. Gonna go ahead and define it here. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like from my, this is gonna be a word function. From my A necromancers class, I wanna go ahead and get my look function, which requires a constant parameter of a f input action value. Okay, and then I'm gonna add a pair of curly braces. In my pair of curly braces, what is something that I might need for my look or for turning around? The only thing I would need is a scale values, whether or not I want to turn towards the left or turn towards the right. Looks like I'm still writing the movement code from scratch in every stream, guys. I feel this is like whenever like Nobro Studio or like I think it's like Kels Manier joins the stream, that's the only time I'm writing my movement logic. It just makes it feel like I always write movement logic, guys. Like yesterday, like 3 days ago when I was working on the summoning logic, I was wondering where you guys were at when I was actually summoning objects for like mouse button and all that stuff. I did use the T subclass of sys template so I could actually store where my character class or my actor class is going to be at. But then I just use that actor to like summon objects and all that. Where were you guys back then, guys? Like the only time I see y'all when I'm writing movement logic. Okay, that's sad. In which country are you from? Honestly, I am like from abroad, but I can't give my exact country name. That's it. I'm gonna go with something like value. And guys, I'm kind of exhausted because I just got like 5 hours of sleep yesterday, most likely. Because guys, I have like some whatchamacallit, I got a lot of assignments to do. And that's it, guys. Make sure you guys smash the like button. I need like I think 6 more likes to spin the wheel again. Okay, so next time I'm gonna go with something like, let's say, I'm gonna add a comment that says something like scale value. Now, for my scale value, let's say I'm gonna go ahead and add a f vector to dimensional, which basically means that I only have access to my x-axis and y-axis. If I wanted to have access of my role, which is basically my z-axis, I would just leave that to be f vector. There, I'm gonna go ahead and require parameter. Am I still in my main camera? Please don't tell me. There we go. Guys, I got scared for a bit. Wait, am I really in my main camera? Okay, I think I'm in my gameplay screen. That's it. How doing average? I appreciate you joining the stream. Because if you're Indian, that accent is crazy. Not gonna lie. Honestly, I'm not Indian, so I think it makes sense. That's it. Let's go here. So I'm gonna go with a scale value. For my f vector, I'm going to represent it using a local variable called something like look vector, which is going to be equal to. So let's see. What do I want to do here? F vector 2D look vector. Where I'm going to go with my value dot get, and my value is from the memory address that I get here. Okay, the get is going to be capitalized with a prop ankle braces, where I'm going to be adding my f vector 2D as a parameter. Okay, and then a prof parentheses ending with a semicolon. Okay, once I'm done with that, let's see. Okay, next up, I'm going to add a if statement here. Excuse me, guys. So now the only time I really want my player to turn around or move is when I'm clicking my right mouse button on my keyboard. The way I determine if I'm clicking my right mouse button on my keyboard is firstly if I get my player's controller, right? Alright guys, let me think this real quick. So if I just press that button, okay, so if I just go with, if my button is pressed, then I can go ahead and add that stuff, but I wouldn't be able to move my cursor around. So player controller. Okay, so firstly, I'm gonna go ahead and get my player controller. I'm gonna go with something like a player controller. Guys, I was just deep thinking real quick. There we go. I'm going to get my player controller, which is going to be represented by PCs as a variable. That is going to be equal to cast. I'm going to go with something like a player controller. Okay, with a pair of parentheses that requires my controller as a parameter, ending with a semicolon. Now that I have my controller, I'm going to add a if statement to check if my player controller is... what was I deep thinking, guys? I feel my brain is exhausted because I've been working since yesterday. Okay, are you going to take part in Baki's game jam? I really wanna, but then I don't think I might have the time right now. Eventually, I think later on, once I don't have much college stress and all that stuff, I might have more time. Speaking of which, guys, I feel like this is really helpful if you have a lot of stress. It's caffeine. Okay, I think it has zero caffeine, doesn't it? It says non-GMO. I don't know what that means. It says dairy, soy free. It says gluten free. It is vegan and it's kosher. And guys, just for the record, I'm not vegan. Let's see, but I do like eating vegetables. I don't really. I mean, okay, let me just go ahead and check this real quick. I was trying to see if it had caffeine in it. I mean, it is like caramel coffee, so it might have caffeine in it. Okay, that's it. Guys, make sure you guys like smash the like button. I need like 5 more likes to like spin the wheel again for my vertical stream, and like let me check how many for my horizontal. Okay, I still need 3 more for my horizontal, guys. 6 people are watching right now. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Okay, where are you from, bro? Honestly, I am like from abroad, but I can't give my actual country name. Okay, I got busy and most of these streams you did was movement plus one small thing, so get bored. So I thought of checking out your progress in gaps, guys. That does make sense, but apparently it's so strange. Like whenever Nobro Studio or like Tasmanier joins my stream and they type something, that is when I'm writing movement logic. I'm like, guys, this is like I think the 5th or 6th time that this happened, or I think multiple times. Okay, so what did I want to check? If my player controller is not equal to null PDR, then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. Actually, not this. Hold up, guys. I just realized I'm not gonna get my player controller here. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. I'm gonna go with something like if my B is RMB pressed is set to true, that's when I'm gonna go ahead and add my controller, your input, okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and add my controller pitch input. Let's go with something like pitch input. Guys, I can actually tell that I might need to take it a bit slow with my college stuff type stuff because I cannot think right now actually. Like I feel my brain is kind of shut because it's at its limit. Okay, now my add controller yaw input does require a value parameter, which is technically my scale value, so I'm gonna go ahead and copy that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and paste this here. Okay, now yaw input is in charge of x-axis, so look vector.x-axis. Pitch input is in charge of y-axis, so look vector.y-axis. That's about it. Okay, although my B is RMB pressed is always set to false because I did not add content for my RMB logic or for my RMB pressed or release function. That is what I'm going to be doing here now. That is going to be pretty easy, to be honest. I'm going to go with something like RMB function. Okay, let's go with RMB function. Okay, and guys, let me check. There are like so many people in my heart. I mean, there's like 5 people in my horizontal, but it's still stuck at to like. Make sure you guys like it, guys. I want to actually whatchamacallit, spin the wheel again through my horizontal instead of like my vertical, because I feel vertical is good as well though. Now, so let's see. So for my RMB function, I'm firstly gonna go with something like from my void function, let's go with something like void. Okay, let's go with something like void. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this. Let's go ahead and paste it here. From my necromancer's class, I'm going to get the access of my RMB underscore press function. Go with the prof parentheses, and then I go with the prof curly braces. Okay, let's see. Well, good luck. You did seem to make progress and able to write a lot of stuff without AI assistance. It actually sounds really cool. Because I did want to actually work on the movement logic as well, but I have like a lot of college assignments, so I might continue this part next stream. And next stream I will not be writing movement code because I did like do that part this stream because I want to like get rid of this because without me moving my player about, it gets kind of tedious to like look and like add different kind of visuals with a static player type stuff. If that makes any sense. That's it for every function. Let's see. The first thing that I want to do is let's say go ahead and get my player controller. Just to save time, I'm gonna go ahead and copy this and paste it here. So now I get my player controller from here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and firstly check. From my necromancer, RMB underscore press. This is correct, isn't it? I think it's correct. It's RMB underscore press. So, and then above curly braces. What are your stream timings? Honestly, it does like depend based on when I come from college. Like there are a few days when I come sooner. Like today I did get lucky because I worked like really hard last night, so I would be able to like complete my assignment, just come back here to stream sooner. Although, for example, tomorrow I'm gonna probably stream whatever you guys' time is right now, an hour later. So my time is like 1 o'clock. I'm going to stream at 2 o'clock, if that makes any sense. Although, make sure to join my Discord server because that's where I usually let you guys know when I actually stream and I mention you guys. Or you guys could go with something like you guys could like turn on the notification thingy, if that makes any sense. That's it, guys. I did not know that my brain is actually at its complete limit. I cannot even phrase stuff right now. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna go with something like an if statement here. I'm gonna go with something like if my player controller is not equal to, let's say, something like null PDR. If my player controller is not null, then I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna go ahead and take some more caffeine. Guys, 3 more likes for the vertical stream for spinning the, what should we call it, spinning the wheel again. So that's it. I'm gonna go with something like PC that points towards something like a boolean check of show mouse cursor. I'm gonna go with something like B show mouse cursor, which is initially going to be set to which is going to be set to false. When my right mouse button is being pressed, I do not want to show my mouse cursor. I'm just going to go ahead and save this. Copy this to save time. Paste it here. This is going to be RMB underscore released, RMB underscore RELEASED. Okay, and then this is going to be something like true. Oops. There we go. Okay, that's about it. Although I forgot a tiny detail here. So I'm going to go ahead and let's say remove my PC from here. I'm just going to go with controller. Okay, and then this is going to be my controller as well. I think this should be player controller, right? Yeah, it should be player controller. I was correct. There we go. I'm going to go with Control Z. Okay, and I'm going to also set my boolean variable. Let's go with something like my boolean variable. Okay, of is RMB pressed is going to be set to true here, ending with a semicolon. You deserve a sub, dude. How can I code like you? Any tips for me? Honestly, my best tip would be like consistency. Try to program like every single day. The longer you do, the better it is. And also, if you could like teach someone else or maybe stream yourself by doing this, that'd be really good as well, because I feel the best way to learn is by actually teaching and just a lot of practice. I feel like practice does make perfect. That's it, guys. Make sure you guys like smash the like button. 3 more likes for spinning the wheel. I do really want to spin the wheel at least once or twice more before I end the stream. That's it. I'm gonna go with something like B is RMB pressed. Okay, is gonna be set to false here. Okay, so RMB pressed, and this is gonna be RMB release. Let's go with true. Okay, B is RMB pressed. Whoops, hold up, let's copy this. Let's paste it here. There, and that's like right about it. I'm gonna hit Control S to save the code. Gonna hit Control S to save the code. Now let's open my Unreal Engine. This is where I'm gonna start it. Is there any platform to do so? Actually, I would like recommend you. Depends. If you want to work with C++ or like C#, I would recommend starting off with like SDL, because it's a bit, the interface is like a bit more easier to understand compared to like Unreal Engine. But later, that is just if you're like a beginner in like C++. Okay, firstly, if you like did not have any experience with C++, make sure to actually write C++ code just on a IDE or like an IDLE. I don't think like Idle is available for like C++, but you could like use Visual Studio Code, or like stuff like that. Once you understand the basic terminology of like C++, move on to like some kind of game engines or like graphic libraries, for example SDL. And then when you're really confident that you know the materials and like the content, like for example how functions work, how did object-oriented programming, how to use memory address, what's the difference between a pointer, what's the reference, and all that stuff, then you can move on to like game engines. That is if you want to like work with software development. If it's like AI engineering, you could like work with like Python, or I've heard Rust as well. That's it. There's like a bunch more different libraries on that as well. I would like recommend doing some research as well. Okay, that's let's go here, guys. And the reason I cannot like really phrase stuff properly or explain stuff properly right now is because I feel like my I cannot get the words correctly started out of my head because my head is at its limit. Okay, let's go to apply to all. There we go. Let's go ahead and open my chat here again. There we go. Okay, and guys, we still need 3 likes. Guys, make sure you guys smash the like button. I want to like spin the wheel again. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and compile. This might take a bit long. Let's wait that compile. Oops. What does Control Alt F11 work? Somehow my patching works when I do Control Alt F11. It did not work these days. I don't know what did I do different. Okay, let's wait for this to compile. Okay, so it's compiling. Okay, it shouldn't take that long. There we go, it took 17 seconds to compile, there we go. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and exit this. Now, I'm gonna go to my content, I'm gonna go to CSAS C++ classes, drag my Necromancer as this class here. And guys, excuse me guys, this is the camera component that I created, and if you guys like go all the way down here, and point towards that is the red stick is my camera boom practically. Okay, now I'm gonna go down here, and then let's extend my details panel real quick. Whoops, there we go. I'm gonna extend this. Under my details panel, I'm gonna go ahead and look for, or I'm gonna add, let's say something like a static mesh for my Necromancer's instance. Static mesh. Okay, my static mesh is gonna be, let's see, my common NPC. Guys, because this is like the only NPC that I really managed to create. And you guys can see that blue line there, like right there. That is technically considered my pivot point. So this is where my static mesh should face. So I gotta rotate it a little. To rotate it, I'm gonna go ahead and hit something like E, and then just turn it till I don't move 90 degrees. There. And then I'm gonna hit W on my keyboard, go down, go towards the left, go a bit towards the, I think it's good. Yeah, I just gotta be inside the capsule. Now I'm facing towards my pivot point, and that's about it. Okay, and then next up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead in my Necromancer's class and search for inputs. Now, how did I get all these inputs here? Guys, I can actually assure you guys that this is a magic setup, guys. There we go. The reason I got these bunch of inputs here where I could actually select and add my input action values that I've created. Let me actually add them real quick. For a look action, I'm gonna go with something like IA look. For RMB action, I'm gonna go with something like IA underscore RMB. Now, the reason I could like really do this stuff is because of my new properties that I created here. They're all categorized inside of my input action. Is there any platform to do so? I think I answered that. Okay, that's it. Let me open my Unreal Engine again. And then lastly, I'm going to go with something like possess. From disable, it's going to be player 0. Now I'll be able to see from my camera's point of view. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and maybe fix my camera a little. Let's go with something like my follow camera. There we go. I might want to get my camera a bit towards the back, a bit higher. And then maybe I want to go ahead and something like E, rotate it a bit lower. And then hit W, go higher. And then go a bit back. There, that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to Control Alt F11 again to live compile. I'm working on a project on Android applications that marks attendance through BLE with Colton and wipe code, but felt stuck and was not able to understand the code after a while. Actually, this is what many of you guys, I would say this is like a common mistake that you guys do. If it really depends. If you guys want to be like a wipe coder, so I think it would be fine, but I still feel like it's pretty good to like have a brief knowledge. But it is definitely possible to actually write code and make working programs without understanding a single block of code in there. Although, if you guys do really want to understand the code, I would recommend to use AI just for a learning process. And if you actually get something to work, understand what it does before moving on to the new part. Because if your main goal is to actually learn how to make the projects on your own instead of just making the projects in general, I feel like wipe coding would be a kind of bad choice. But then I'm not saying wipe coding is bad, to be honest. Okay, I gotta go ahead and fix a few things. I turned really fast and I don't go up, I don't go down. So I'm gonna go to my, let's say, content drawer. And then that might be an issue because if I were to go to my inputs, let's say I'm gonna double click my IA look. In my IA look, this is set to digital boolean. I'm gonna switch it to 2D vector because I'm working with 2D vectors. And then I'm gonna go with IA underscore move. This is digital boolean as well, that goes to 2D vector. And then let's see for my IA underscore RMB, this needs to be digital boolean because either I want to click or not click my button there. Okay, I think that should be it. So let's go ahead and Control Alt F11 again to compile my code. Okay, and guys, I don't think I'll be able to have another, another spin the wheel because we're still at 27 and not 30 likes yet. That's it. Let's go ahead and exit that, run the code. And now I can go ahead and turn towards the left, turn towards the right, look up, look down. I gotta fix that real quick. Although I can move forward, backwards, left, right. Okay, I gotta fix that as well. So I'm gonna go to my C++ file. Firstly, to fix my movements, I'm gonna change this to be a negative look vector because I look in the opposite direction as what I want to. And I'm gonna change this to y-axis and change that to x-axis. Okay, now this should fix everything. I'm gonna hit Control S to save the code, hit Control Alt F11 here to compile my code. Let's wait for it to compile. So there we go. Guys, I miss these days when it compiles so quick. Now it should work. Okay, I can go ahead and look up, look down, look left, look right, move forward, backwards, left and right. Okay, perfect. The very important thing after that part is I'm gonna exit real quick. I'm gonna, whoops, extend this. I'm gonna make sure that I save my stuff because I think this is all that I'm gonna do because I got a lot of college stuff to complete as well. Guys, I really need some kind of, whatchamacallit. I wish I had some kind of like a cheat code to actually remember everything properly. Okay, let's see. I mean, I think I might actually eat something and then I'm gonna work on my college stuff. Okay, that's let's see. You have a lot of knowledge, dude. You can we be friends? Like, I want a guy who can show me the path. I have a lot of interest in programming and planning to apply in GSOC too. That sounds kind of cool. Honestly, I would like glad to be friends. You guys could like join my Discord server. That's where I usually talk to you guys and chat with you guys. With that said, I feel like I might end the stream here because I am kind of exhausted. There's no way I can like go on any longer. Because I don't want to completely exhaust my brain, which it already is. Because I do have like a lot of I have like a few assignments due tonight. That said, let me go to something like. Should I? I think I'll go with one more. Like, even though we're like we need like 2 more likes. I think I might just go one more round because I feel like it's kind of fun. Okay, let's wait for this to spin. Guys, how are we still at 2 likes in the horizontal stream? I guess we don't get to do push-ups today. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and close this. I might actually... Okay, let's go to my main camera. I think this is kind of fun, actually. Let's go to main camera. There we go. Guys, this is like the ending of the stream where I'm gonna be just spinning the wheel because I didn't really want to spin the wheel. Go to my chair, get in the camera. Alrighty, so I gotta go ahead and do 10 sit-ups. Let's try it. Okay, so... And guys, the rule for the sit-ups is I gotta like come like completely up. Can you guys not see me? What if I do it this way? No, I think forward is much better. Okay, I don't want to like hit my back. Okay, so I just hit my head, guys. Okay, let's go with something like here. So that's 1, and then 2 might go here. There we go. That's 3, and then 4, and then 5 more to go. Let's go with something like 6. Okay, and then 7. What up, guys? There we go. 8. I'm starting to feel it burnt, to be honest. Let's go with something like 9 and 10. Guys, I feel like I'm not used to whatchamacallit, like working out like this. Okay, that's it. Let me go all the way up here. So let's see. I think I got some shots. There we go. So friends, honestly, I'm glad to be friends. Okay, that's it. This is honestly pretty much it. So I'm gonna go back to my OBS here. Okay, I'm already on my camera. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for the stream. If you guys did enjoy the stream, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, like, and my algorithm share makes you smile, and subscribe if like it on top. See guys, I'm kind of out of breath, and I did start multi-streaming on Twitch, Kick, YouTube. I will start multi-streaming on TikTok and Instagram as well if I didn't really followers or requirement. So if you guys do enjoy my content and haven't followed me yet, make sure to follow me. The link is going to be in the description, and also join the Discord server. That's where usually talk to you guys, chat with you guys, and have like general conversations. If you guys ever need the roadmap that I use for like C++, Python, SDL, or Unreal Engine, I will like give it to you guys there. Speaking of which, I did not really create a roadmap for Unreal Engine or SDL. I am working on that. That said, whatchamacallit, I might stream longer once my call is over. I did say that last time as well, but I eventually did not end up. Okay, that's it. I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace. Okay, before I actually end the stream, check. We're still at 28. Okay, that's it. Let's go.